Hey guys, Pat here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And behind me I got my little 450 case crawler 1976. And we're going to flip over the cutting edge, Cody and I. These cutting edges here are worn out. As you can see, between the center of the fastener and the bottom of the blade, or on the bottom of the cutter, is a lot more distance between here and here than here and here. And so this is all wore out. This needs to be switched over. Actually, this cutting edge is going to go over on the other side, and that one is going to turn over and come over on this side, and in the center it's just going to flip over. Anytime you buy anything for this equipment, especially when it's older, well, new and old, it don't matter, it's all expensive. So anyway, anytime you can build something, fabricate something yourself, it's a lot easier way to go. Like the angle cylinder pins, I replaced those, and that tightened things up pretty good on the little cat, or on the little dozer. So today we're going to go ahead and take a 3/4 inch impact wrench and remove the bolts on the underside of this. So all these 3/4 inch bolts all the way through here have to come off, and hopefully they won't give me any trouble. Hopefully I won't have to use any heat. And I had to run and get a C-clamp so we can remove these. I'm taking a C-clamp and a little piece of steel and just putting it over top of the carriage bolt, and so it doesn't back off and the nuts start spinning on the other side, because nuts are kind of rusty, of course, and the bolts are kind of rusty. So by putting this plate over top of this, it'll keep this from backing off while I'm undoing the back side. We'll just put that over top of that, one side of the bolt, and secure this down. May have to use a little heat or penetrating oil or something. What I've decided to do is just go along with each one of these bolts and see if they would loosen automatically to a point, and that way I know which ones can come off the easiest. Of course, I have this piece of wood underneath here and the blade resting on top of that, because I'm underneath the blade. I can tell when they're loosening up because it gets a couple of turns on the thread before it spins on the carriage bolt. It sure wouldn't hurt to change those out. They're getting a little bit rusted away. was it for the ride. That was it. Well, somebody really laid the boots to me here. they wasn't thinking about the next guy, which was me, to have to change out those cutting edges. The cutting edge, if you can see in there, there's a bolt way back in there, and then there's this plate that runs up to the front and boxes all this in, so I can't get to the third bolt that's way back in here. So I'm going to cut a window or an access hole in here. I don't mind so much the idea of them putting ribs on. These are all an afterthought, it looks like, that they welded into place to give that more rigidity or support. That's all fine and good, but they didn't make it to where you can get that corner cutting edge off. This piece right here, I may or may not have to take this off. I will have to cut this outside bolt off with the cutoff wheel, and I may have to do the same with that, and I might have to do the same with this one in the center. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the cutoff wheel and cutting a section out of here, out of this metal, so I can get to that bolt. I may have to cut this whole piece out, I don't know. We'll see. Now we have an access hole in here. I can get to that bolt. There we go. Now this one here, I had to split because I couldn't get the grinder in there. So we'll see if we can get that one off. Obviously I got this one, that one off, and this one here. Had to grind them all three, but at least I can get to them. There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. And we got that split in two. Get the other half off and we're golden. There we go. Whew, it was loaded. Okay, there we go. Now in theory, I should be able to flip this over, but I do need some more bolts for sure. Well, we'll pull the other side off, get this face cleaned up here, and decide what I want to do. The cutting edges are still good, so I could probably still use those, but I need to get a new set of bolts for this. Not take a chance, so I'll count up the number of holes I need and the length of bolts I need, and we'll go with that. It's been a few days since I've been out here to the cutting edge project, and I want to give the paint a few days to harden up. What I have in mind here, you can see really close, you can see the old pitting in here, and I'm not sure if this is going to help or if it's going to hurt. I have some old underlayment for our old wood floor that we installed many years ago, and what I had thought about doing is this part up here is not going to be affected too much because of the blade. When I turn it over is going to be maybe about 3/4 of an inch down, but down here where there's a lot of pressure, where the cutting pressure is, I thought it might be helpful to have this foam in here, maybe to help buffer, save the paint and keep from the cutting edge from chafing the edge of the blade here. As you can see, it's been repaired before. Somebody let it get way out of hand, and they built this edge back up again. I think they did a pretty good job, but on the corners it's really bad. So anyways, by flipping that cutting edge over, we'll eliminate all this, and hopefully by putting that thick foam down, it'll help to keep the cutting edge from chafing on this and causing this to come back through and rust again. We'll see how that works out. So the other thing I did is I ordered some more bolts, lock washers, and nuts to go on to the back onto the cutting edge. So size wise, these are 1/2 inch by 2. They call them plow bolts. And these are split lock washers. They are 1/2 inch, and these are 1/2 by 13 nuts. So I'll take all this stuff over here to the machine and get installing the cutting edge back on the blade. So the other thing I wanted to do is put some anti-seize lubricant on the bolts, so hopefully when I go to change this out again, if that ever happens, I'll be able to change those out a little bit easier, change the bolts out. Takes longer to do this, but it's just another little preventative thing. Make life a little easier on a guy. Now I'm going to put all this stuff on here hand tight to start with, just in case I have to move these around a little bit to get that center one on. I want to put the 2 edge pieces on first. That way this will be held in place. What'd you find? What'd you find? Now that it's installed, you can really see how much wear the other side, this side here, had before I changed it over. That was quite a bit of cutting that's been done by this little cat over the years. I don't know when the last time that was switched over, but you can tell it's been a while. Anyway, that concludes this project for this little machine. Thanks for coming along. Take care, and God bless.